All right. We are live on almost every platform except for Instagram. I probably could have got that up on my other phone. But anyway, welcome everybody. I am excited. I got a little setup over here with all my platforms because I want to make sure that this message reaches everyone that needs to hear it. So I'll do my intro because y'all still getting in. So for those of you who watch the replay, you'll be able to check this out. But my name is Kirsten Allen. I have a background and experience working with corporations, selling B2B, have sold over $16 million to corporations. La da la la la. And the reason I say it like that is because the only reason I share those things is because I want you all to know who you're speaking to and that I have the background and credibility. But at the end of the day, I don't really feel that y'all care too much about that, right? You just want to know, can I solve your problems? Can I be able to support you in getting to the next level? In this case, going into the corporate contract space. So, with that being said, I want to talk to you guys about a few things today. So, I mentioned to you, I have a career background in this. So, I've sold, that was my daily 9 to 5 job, 40 hours a week, putting in, learning this process. And then as I transitioned into entrepreneurship, I saw the through line to what my corporate experience was, which I did not think I would leverage in any way possible. I was literally like, when I was considering starting my business and leaving corporate, I'm like, there's no way I'm doing anything that is related to the work that I've done in corporations because I was just truly over it. I was like, I'm good on this. I am ready to move into something different. I thought I would be doing marketing consulting, which is my degree path. And so I understand that. I did take another role doing some marketing launch campaigns. And so, anyway, don't want to get too far in the resume, but just so you guys can understand and hopefully see within yourself, whether it's your career or your business as it stands today, everything can be used. So the same thing that I was like closing the door on is the very thing that the people who are assigned to me need to hear and want to learn from me. And so I've been in this space for a while, and quite honestly, I had to figure out what exactly how to simplify the process. If anyone else out there identifies as an expert who has literally lived and breathed the thing that you're doing, you know so much. There's so many different angles, there's so many different possibilities, there's so many different ways to win. And so, what I had to really start to look at, especially in my own business, as I was getting contracts for my company and going after them, how do I simplify this for the entrepreneur that's busy? Because in my career, it was very similar. Like I was a salesperson inside of a company, but it was very entrepreneurial focused. You had to drive your own deals. You know what I'm saying? You had to have conversations and meetings and sales calls and follow ups and emails and LinkedIn and all the things, right? So I understood even in corporate what it took to be an entrepreneur and the grind. I don't like to use that word anymore, but it wasn't a cushy just sit back and press buttons job, right? If you really wanted to win at the role, you had to really get out there and get it, right? And you had limited time, so they didn't want us focused on certain things. We had assistants in marketing in different areas because they really wanted us focused on that particular part of our role. So when it comes to entrepreneurs, it's the same, right? There's so many different things going on as a business owner. I really had to start thinking about and through running programs and trying things and having different offers and services, just learn how to structure my program and my methodology in a way that helps people like you just get the basics. Like you don't need to be me. You don't need to go through all the headache and heartache and things that I went through. You just need to figure out what is the process. When I talk to people, they want to know, how do they get into these spaces? What do they say? Who do they talk to? Like those are the things that people like you are questioning and want to make sure that you have a solid process for. And so let's talk about the truth with corporate contracts today. I got about 10 minutes. So we're going to make this really short, sweet, and to the point. The first truth that I want to break down to you is that number one, contracts are everywhere. So some people make it so elusive and like, where do we find these opportunities, or where are the people that are buying? I'm hearing that there are no budgets. I'm hearing that, DEI has made companies not spend on certain things anymore and they aren't spending on leadership. And I'm just like, hmm. That's really interesting because they still have people they're hiring. They still have leaders that need training. I live with somebody who lives in corporate America. They just did a whole 3-day leadership training, for their company. And I work with, of course, several other people and have, connections with people where companies are still spending. I have conversations and clients that are working with organizations, universities that are still spending. They still have these programs, they still have these budgets. Nothing has shifted. What has shifted is, or I shouldn't even say what has shifted, what people are running into or what they're finding out for the first time. Because how many of us know that history repeats itself? So nothing is really new under the sun, just like this economic downturn that we're in now was the same thing, that happened in 2008, was the same thing that happened years prior. Like things repeat themselves. And once you live a couple of decades, I can officially say that, you start to see how things continue to repeat. Same thing with this. Like I've been through so many different downturns and different things happening in my space and in, the corporate world and selling B2B. And so what people are identifying for the first time is that selling to corporate is not just about you wanting to get a contract and you doing this amazing work and you're so passionate about it and you think that it should be a good fit for corporations. That's not it. You actually have to have a true value add and you have to understand how to speak their language in order to actually move a deal forward. So let me explain what this means. I talk to people, all across the board. Most of my clients are in the consulting space, the coaching space, what they would call, transformational work. So they teach based upon, their lived experience, their corporate experience, their, personal background, all of those things, right? And so it's like, okay, maybe you have a gifting in sales, or maybe you have a gifting in helping people write their books. I'm thinking about my different people transitioning from adulthood to college, gut health and mindfulness. You have these different areas of expertise that you have. And it's like, well, you can't just show up to a corporation and say, hey, I'm a gut health expert, because to them, that sounds cool, but that doesn't ring a bell to budget that they have, right? That doesn't make them say, oh, we're looking for someone like that. And if you don't tell them verbatim, like exactly what they need to hear to trigger that, they will just think of you as a nice person to meet and to have in their network. Same thing, even with things like sales or business coaching. I'm a sales coach. Okay, that might be close. That might be, something that may spark their mind, but who they hire are sales trainers, right? Who they hire are people who understand certain methodologies like MedPick. I don't want to get too nerded out on y'all because I know sales, but they want to work with people who have a specific training expertise in one of the ways that they train their salespeople. So you need to know those things so that you can properly introduce yourself or have conversations with corporations in a way that they already know such and such is my person. This already relates to something we already purchased. This relates to something that we already need or what we're talking about and what we know that we're gearing up for in the next, 3 to 6 months. Another example that I'll give you with the book writing coach. Now, there's no way you're going to walk up to a corporation and say, I'm a book writing coach, and they going to even know what that is, right? We also got to understand that we're so familiar with the online coaching and transformational space, but people in corporate, this is a world that they know nothing about. Just like we feel as, well, I'll say, most of my people feel like in corporate, they have no idea how things work. The same is on our side. They don't understand, us. And so one of the things that I'm grateful to be able to be in is this middle portion where I understand both sides so that I can help you all translate and work together better. That's really the whole purpose of the work that I do and why I'm so passionate about it. So, saying that you're a book writing coach is really going to miss the mark because they don't get how that aligns to their priorities and what does that mean to them. So that's the question that you should really ask yourself. What does this mean to them? How does this align with their priorities? And if you don't know those, one, go back and binge my YouTube because I've been talking about this, for well over a year on my YouTube page for sure. And then definitely over the past few years across my Facebook, and you might find some things on LinkedIn as well. But the best way is going to be to go back to my YouTube or either grab my book, Get Corporate Clients Now. That'll be the one, stop shop for all of those things. So I won't talk about those today, but There's plenty of content that I've done about corporate priorities. But essentially, with the book writing example, one of the things that I help the client be able to do is look at what is the end result, right? You're helping them write the book, yes. But what is the process that you're taking them through that could likely be applied to the corporate space? So with that, I'm like, okay, really you're helping them tell their story. You're helping them, get their message in a concise way that audiences can be able to understand that. So in a corporate scope or in a corporate landscape, there are leaders, there are managers, there are individuals, there's salespeople like I was that have to do the same thing. They may not be telling their personal story, but they do need to know how to tell the story of the company, of the product, even of the initiative. Like, say they're in a nonprofit or they're in some type of community organization. They need storytelling because storytelling is selling, right? So it's not just about writing the book, but why do they want to write the book? When you can get to that, then you can understand how you can craft it and be able to take that message and turn it into something that means something for corporations. So, that is one of the biggest truths that we have to understand and acknowledge when it comes to going into corporations. You have to know how to transition your message into a corporate priority that makes them click and say, we were just talking about we needed to add that to the budget. We're looking for someone to come in and train on this. We're looking for somebody to talk about emotional intelligence or how to work better as a team or, how to sell better, how to market better, how to use AI, whatever the case may be. They literally buy everything. But the way that you speak about it is going to be the difference between them saying, oh, yeah, that sounds nice. Great. And let's have a conversation because we have budget for this. Okay. So that is one of the major truths that I wanted to share. I told you I only had about 10 minutes today because I got to get ready for school pickup. But I wanted to make this short, sweet, and to the point. I'm going to be sharing more of these in a class that I'm hosting tomorrow. It's a live class. It's at 12 p.m. Eastern tomorrow, August 7th. And it's going to be going into depth of not only what your priorities should look like in terms of how you're talking about your work that you do for corporations. I'm going to be talking about how to set up the systems where you can find, close, and pitch. Well, find, pitch, and close corporate contracts using a simplified system. That's what I'll be talking about in the class tomorrow. It is live. You are all invited to join. All you have to do is either comment on this post and say, I want in, and I'll share the link with you, or you may find the link in my bio if you check on wherever you are listening to this right now. But if you can't find it, just go in the comments, say I want in, and I'll be sure that you have the link to join us in the class tomorrow. We're going to go in depth. It's going to be amazing. And if you've ever been to even one of these lives, I give some really good information that people have taken and really have applied to get true results. So if you come in the room with me and get a class, be able to ask questions, we'll have Q&A at the end. You are truly going to be in for a treat. And I'm going to be introducing ways that you can work with us closely to be able to get this done. Because what does it mean to know stuff and not have a plan to be able to actually execute it? So I want to make sure that I give you all that opportunity to do that as well. So again, if you would like to join me for tomorrow's class, we're going to be talking all about how to position yourself for corporate contracts, find, pitch, and close deals using a simplified system. We would love to have you. All you need to do is comment I'm in the wherever you're watching this, and I'll make sure that you get that link to join us before the class commences. So again, it's tomorrow, 12 p.m. Eastern. So you want to make sure that you secure your seat. We already have a good few folks in the room, and so it's going to be a good time, and I am excited to have you all there. All right, that is my time for today. I enjoyed speaking with you all, and I will chat with you soon. And for those of you who are joining the class, if you're already signed up, make sure you leave a comment so that we can get hype and let folks know that it is all going down tomorrow in the room, and we are going to get some of these contracts. It's too much money going unused, and it's too much of a blue ocean in the corporate space. So many people are saying, individual buyers are buying slowly, and you're going through all of these things as a business owner. These ups and downs, of course, happen, but how much more stable would your business be if you had a multi-year corporate contract? Ask yourself that question. And if you ask yourself that and you're like, it would change the game, you need to be in the room. All right. I'll see y'all soon. And I see you in the comments. I'll make sure that you have the link.